Welcome to Drawsh Studio. Today we're going to use ellipses to construct a cool arch in perspective. Let's get started. To create an arch, it starts with an ellipse. So we need to create a square plane in perspective and use one of the ellipse construction techniques from our previous video. Click the link above if you haven't seen it yet. I like the repeating depth construction technique because it uses fewer lines but still gives an accurate ellipse. And of course, we can use the major and minor axis to check to see if the ellipse meets the conditions it needs to be correct. The minor axis will also reveal the opposite vanishing point, which we will need to construct the arch. The arch itself is really just the top section of the ellipse, connected to the ground via straight lines. This curve will be the opening of the arch, so we'll need to build the thickness of the arch that we would see through this opening. To find the back section, we need to use the opposite vanishing point and build another square plane behind the first. Once we have the back plane defined, we can use any of the techniques to draw another ellipse. We just need to double check that the minor axis of the back ellipse is also the same as the minor axis of the front ellipse, and that it goes to the center of the plane in perspective. Then we can darken the line of the section of the arch that we would see through this opening. Now let's use some perspective construction techniques to build the front of the arch out. An arch is usually built with a series of stacked stones that form pillars, with a wedge-shaped keystone at the top locking them all in. To keep the width of the outer section of stones consistent, let's divide the box into 16 squares. We can use the repeating depth technique to duplicate the outer square size on either side. Then we bring the lines up to create the outside edge of the stones. To know where to stop for the top line, we can extend the diagonal out. This is a 45-degree line, meaning it touches the corners of each box. So where it touches here would be the corner of the top row and tell us where to stop for the top line. Now we can mimic the curve of our ellipse in this outer section. Next, we use the lines we just made to divide this outer section into individual stones. Where it starts to curve here, we can draw a diagonal line that feels right to our eye. But then we need to create a construction line back to match the angle on the other side. Because this angle touched here and here, the other side would touch these points here and here, creating a symmetrical mirror image. We repeat this at the top with the keystone, first deciding what looks right, then using a construction line to match it on the other side. And we can take the stones back to our opposite vanishing point to make them dimensional. Now we'll use our vanishing points to build a basic structure of large blocks around the arch. These are going to be the big shapes that we will make more ruined later. But it's a good idea to have a solid understanding of the perspective so your organic lines feel more accurate later. Because we want this to look in a state of ruin, I'm not making these blocks consistent or symmetrical here, to give the illusion things have collapsed and moved over time. It can be helpful to sketch out things like this first to help you plan what design you want. With this blocky structure drawn in, we simply go over the top and round and soften up all the hard edges. Because these are ruins, we want to make all the perfectly straight lines a little wobbly or chipped to show the wear of time. As we do this, we keep in mind the ultimate perspective of our scene, but this part can be much more organic. To finish our little scene, a small figure will give it scale and context. Try this on your own. Use an ellipse to construct an arch and get creative with the surrounding sections.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to go to drawsh.com for more information on these topics and many more. If you want to see more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.